kids who was going someplace else. You reached out to me after listening to the interview, and you stole him, and I helped you steal him.
So, you did. But
it was great.
Rick Biles, that's right.
That's right, and it was great. I remember him playing ball, at Peabody, and then seeing the type of grades that he had. I said, man, this kid didn't know. When you reached out to me, I made it happen, and of course he went there, and matter of fact, I think she should be wrapping up, getting close to his senior year in that. But getting back to the maritime thing, getting back to the maritime thing, because I saw, here in Louisiana, it's like a tight-knit fraternity, and it's mostly white males, and in fact, the money is, you say that's the floor. 300,000 is the floor. Average, some of these guys are making $500,000 a year, but not only navigating these tugboats and things of that nature, but I didn't realize until I started taking cruises, some 30 years ago, having been on 28 cruises, that even when they come from the Gulf of Mexico into the intercoastal waterways or into the New Orleans port or Pontchartrain, that they have to get one of these captains, and the ship is moving, and you see these little boats pass up. They open up the door, and they jump on the ship, and they navigate in and out of the body of waters, and this is all over the country. So for you to be on the cutting edge and to get this, because there's some big money, just like there was big money in Cyber Command coming right out of college with a degree, making 6 figures in many cases into that field. Same way here, same block, different corner, and I didn't realize the kind of money was in that, but getting into that fraternity is kind of difficult when it's been primarily white men, and they kind of frown about letting people in, certainly people of color. How can y'all try to break that barrier? And will setting up a maritime degree field, will that kind of kick in this door and give will they be accepted here in Louisiana? That's the big question.
Absolutely, and as a matter of fact, we have a great group of individuals who come from all parts of the of that maritime industry,
mm-hmm.
who are very supportive, and it's it's men, it's women, it's black, it's white. I mean, it is every demographic that is a part of that, and one of the gentlemen who's been really supportive of the actually a couple of them that come to mind who are African American, Eddie Campos IV, who owns his own maritime business,
okay.
and they've got I want to say close to 25 vessels that are out and doing a lot of different type of work out on the water.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's Captain Jackson from New Orleans, who's been a river pilot for I think 30 plus years.
Okay.
Captain Jackson's been Captain Lee Jackson.
Okay.
Very supportive and involved. And look, these are gentlemen who are well known, well respected in the industry, and I mean there has not been any hint of reluctance by anyone. One of the state representatives, Representative Mark Wright, who's from the North Shore area,
mm-hmm.
Who introduced legislation to establish the University of Louisiana Maritime Academy. Is a Caucasian man,
okay.
who is just totally supportive, and again, supported the legislation. Governor Landry is all in on this. He has talked often about the importance of he calls it specialization, but kind of regional focus of our institutions, and so he is all in on the creation of the Maritime Academy at Nicholls State as well. So look, I'm telling you, it is one of these things that not everybody will understand, that when God's for you, who can be against you?
Right? Amen.
So believing that this is something that was destined and ordained to happen at this time, in this place. And so again, it's super exciting just to see that particular program develop. And here's the other beautiful part about it, is that other UL schools will have an opportunity to play various roles. So, for instance, when we talk about Grambling and cybersecurity, and of course, Louisiana Tech has cyber engineering as well, that they will play a role in, because obviously there are cyber threats to vessels that are that are sailing all through the state and all over the world. And so there will be a cyber focus that these schools will contribute with. You've also got University of Louisiana Monroe, and most people know them as the state's only public pharmacy school, of course Xavier being the private one, but they also have a big atmospheric science program at ULM, and so they will contribute with the weather component, the part of the program. So again, we will see all of our schools. McNeese State is moving along with their creation of a center of excellence in LNG, liquefied natural gas. And of course, the Cheniere facility down in Cameron Parish, that's your old stomping ground.
Lake Charles, Calcasieu, that's right.
Yeah.
Lake Charles High Graduate, 1982. Get it right, brother.
There you go. So,
and my siblings went to McNeese. Yeah, my siblings went to McNeese. Yeah, all three of them. Yeah.
So, again, just, seeing the synergy that exists. University of New Orleans has naval architecture, and it's one of a very handful in the entire country. So they will play a part in the carrying the naval architectural requirements of the program. So again, there'll just be lots of synergy among UL schools, and this is something, again, we're super excited about.
Well, look, there's a couple of things because you and I talk off air, but definitely I was at an event, a Heal the Boot event, and of course I know you're familiar with them. They went all around the state providing free medical services for anybody who needed it, regardless of statute, money. That wasn't the issue. In fact, I got these nice glasses that I'm wearing from them because I went to the optometry part, and I met there. They had 5 black doctors. They were all optometrists, and every last one of them went to the University of Houston. And I was like, I was very familiar with the program, being a U of H graduate back during the Phi Sigma Gamma era. I know you're familiar with that, but in talking to them, they'd let me know that there's no optometry school in the state of Louisiana. So I don't know if that's something that's in your purview, but it definitely needs to be. There needs to be an optometry school in the state of Louisiana. And another sidebar to that is the radio business. Right now, there are thousands of radio stations throughout the country, but engineers and finding people to work, whether it's AM or FM, the equipment has changed. It's become more computerized, but I would say the average engineer, if you can find one, is over the age of 60. And young people haven't gravitated towards it. I remember seeing something on Louisiana Public Broadcasting about 10 years ago, back then, about how it was very difficult to find an engineer. And I know because, I'm a station owner, man, and these guys are traveling out of here. There's one guy, a good friend of mine, he's our engineer, Tony Evans. He's in Minnesota. He's in Wisconsin because the need is so great, and the younger people don't know about this field. And in this particular field, Luke, you work for yourself. You're self-employed. These guys are bringing in $300,000, $400,000 a year. But the engineers are a dying breed, radio engineers. So I just want to put that bug in your ear since we were talking about electives and certain career fields that you're bringing in, not only, to what you did for Grambling, but what you're doing with this maritime situation at UL.
Yeah, well, look, I appreciate you mentioning that. I know several of our schools have on-campus radio stations, and so I'll definitely follow up and see what we're doing relative to the engineering side of it. I do know that, obviously, I'm probably more familiar with Grambling's MassCom program and the radio station. They have both a 50,000-watt FM station as well as an online radio station, the Lab. And a TV center as well. So I know that a lot of that hands-on work is going on there. But I appreciate you mentioning that, and I'll definitely follow up on where all of our other schools are in teaching those engineers.
I'm gonna have to bring you back because we got talking about these electives, and you trying to create opportunities to create more jobs for people, particularly young people on the college level. But I want to bring you back and talk a little bit more. Maybe we can visit again on next week, maybe next Monday for part 2 of our discussion, where we talk a little bit more about your plan for the future for higher education in the state of Louisiana, and some of the other programs that you guys are looking at. Since now you have, like you said, the 1 year anniversary of your appointment, and we're coming up on the 1 year, certainly January 1st of what you actually taking the job. Because I kind of wanted to wait till you got your feet wet, and like I said, I'm your hype man all over the state, man, and all over the country. I know I ain't getting paid for it, but you know what? The bottom line is just watching you and being a part of your inner circle and as your friend first and foremost is just a blessing in a relationship that I really cherish.
Well, look, Tony, and let me point this out. Next Monday, I'll be flying up to Boston, Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Wow.
So I've been invited to come back to a convening to talk about higher education and AI, artificial intelligence.
Oh, great.
And I went up last year and spoke about it. And of course, we're leaning heavily into the integration of AI, not only on the academic side of the operation, but also in operations. Everything from campus maintenance schedules. Having AI incorporated into that. So
admissions,
so I've been
financial aid.
Back up and I'll speak at MIT on next Tuesday.
Well, I'm gonna let you get back. I'm going to let you get back from the Ivy League schools and maybe try to touch base with you near the week, and then we can kind of talk about AI, because that's definitely a topic not only are people interested in, but I'm interested in, and because I know it can help me even in my business.
Absolutely. So, look, after I get back from speaking at MIT, I definitely look forward to continuing our conversation about Louisiana's largest higher ed system, University of Louisiana system, 82,000 students strong, 9 distinct campuses, but one incredibly strong system. And so I look forward to continuing the conversation.
All right. Tell the wife to say hello, kiss the boys for me.
Do the same.
All right. Take care, brother. All right. Good friend. Fraternity brother, president of the University of Louisiana Systems. It's out of Baton Rouge. Nice office, all that. My fraternity brother, Kappa man, Rick Gallo. More eyes open when we come back. Don't go away.
Tired of walking with constant pain because of feet problems? Look no further than my personal podiatrist, Dr. Ogali Leye, with Natchitoches Foot and Ankle Specialists. They're located at 415 Bienville Street, right behind the Natchitoches Hospital. We all know that every step we take depends on the condition of our feet. Dr. Ogali Leye is a former college athlete, also has vast experience in sports medicine. Dr. Leye treats a wide range of foot and ankle problems like diabetic foot care, bunions, chronic sores, problems, infections, ingrown toenails, planters, warts, wound care, and more. Professionals at Foot and Ankle Specialists in Natchitoches can help you get back on the good foot. Call today at 318-357-3668. That's 318-357-3668. So whether you need foot or ankle surgery because of a sports injury, or just need constant foot care because of diabetes, put your best foot forward and call Dr. Ogali Leye with Natchitoches Foot and Ankle Specialists today at 318-357-3668. Dr. Ogali Leye with Foot and Ankle Specialists in Natchitoches, 415 Bienville Street, the only podiatrist in Sunlaw that is one step ahead of everyone else.
Hi, this is Dolores with Robinson Family Mortuary. We understand that times are hard and life is challenging, but planning for the homegoing service for a loved one should not be. So we are offering a service starting at $3,000, which comes in various color options. If you need more information, please give us a call, 318-442-7300. You can stop by at 1815 Military Highway in Pineville, or if you happen to be in the Oakville area, Please give us a call, 318-335-8656, to find out how our family can be of service to yours.
Rapides Primary Healthcare Centers now has convenient locations to better serve residents of Central Louisiana. Now you can get affordable medical, dental, and mental health care at 1217 Willow Glen River Road and 605 Brown Bend Road in Alexandria and 1007 Shirley Road in Bunkie. If you need quality health care for your baby from prenatal, during pregnancy, and up until adulthood, then look no further than Rapides Primary Healthcare Centers. Rapides Primary Healthcare Centers continues to be the affordable, timely answer to all your family's healthcare needs. All services are available to anyone regardless of their ability to pay. You or your family will never be turned away. Rapides Primary is a certified KidMed site with a sliding fee scale. Payment is based on income and size of family. Medicaid, Medicare, and most commercial insurance is accepted for all medical services. For appointments and information on all medical services, call 318-487-4400. That's 318-487-4400. Rapides Primary Healthcare Center, now with 3 locations to better serve Central Louisiana. A new beginning to quality health care.
This is State Representative Ed Larverdane. I'm supporting my friend Cleo Fields for Congress. Cleo has been a very solid voice for our community. He fights hard for important issues such as minimum wage, health care, affordable housing, and early childhood funding for all of our children. He will bring that same passion and fight to Washington, D.C. He is the right choice and the only choice for our district. Fields for us. The only choice, vote number 21.
Hello, this is Myron K. Lawson, former president of the Alexandria City Council. I'm here today asking that you vote for our friend, Senator Cleo Fields, as the next United States Congressman. Senator Fields has been very, very effective when it comes to fighting for crime prevention, for economic development, and certainly for higher wages in our community. I ask that you again vote for number 21 on the ballot. Our friend, Senator Cleo Fields, as our next United States Congressman.
For leadership that we can trust, it's Fields for us.
I'm Cleo Fields and I approve this message.
Listen live every weekday morning at 6 a.m. for Eyes Open with Tony Brown radio show. The KTTP app allows you to listen to the best of old school R&B and today's hit 24/7, all day, every day. With the KTTP app available now in the App Store or Google Play. This is Eyes Open with Tony Brown on FM 107.5, The Vibe, and 1110 AM, KTTP, Alexandria, Pineville.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tony Brown. This is your statewide news you can use on this Monday, October the 21st. News today being brought to you by Dr. Ogali Leye with Natchitoches Foot and Ankle Specialist. One person is dead, found in a vehicle submerged in a pond on Sunday, according to the East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office. The Sunday Sheriff's deputies were notified of a vehicle submerged at a pond at about 4:40 in the morning on Blue Bonnet Boulevard at Harvest Way. St. George firefighters went to the pond and recovered the body of 40-year-old Alex Gonzalez Hernandez, who was driving the vehicle. Investigators determined Gonzalez Hernandez was traveling north on Blue Bonnet Boulevard when the vehicle left the roadway and crashed into a wooden fence on the right side of the road. The vehicle then traveled through a tree, causing the tree to snap in two before landing in the pond. The vehicle was completely submerged. When law enforcement arrived, it is unclear how fast Gonzalez Hernandez was traveling. An autopsy will determine the cause of death. Additional information was not immediately available. At least 5 people were injured in an early morning shooting on Greenwell Springs Road, and Emergency Medical Services said on Sunday EMS responded to the shooting in the 9700 block of Greenwell Springs Road in Baton Rouge at about 4 o'clock in the morning Sunday. 5 people were taken to the hospital in an ambulance. The conditions of the 5 injured people are unknown. Baton Rouge police are investigating the shooting. Additional information, again, not available. That means no suspects so far in custody. Louisiana State Police reported that 2 people were killed on Saturday due to separate car accidents on Louisiana Highway 107 in Avoyelles Parish. Troopers said they responded to the scene of the first fatal crash at about 6:30 p.m. on Highway 107 near Center Point. This was a 2-vehicle crash that reportedly killed 62-year-old Harold Gaspard of Marksville. After their initial investigation, troopers determined that Gaspard was driving a pickup truck south on 107 when, for unknown reasons, his vehicle crossed the oncoming lane and struck a car head-on. Gaspard was reportedly wearing a seatbelt, was fatally injured, and was pronounced dead at the scene. Routine toxicology samples have been collected. The investigation is continuing. State police said they then responded to the second fatal accident again on Highway 107 later that evening at around 10:20 p.m. The single vehicle crash was near Pinks Lane and reportedly claimed the life of 37-year-old Terrence Hawkins. Following an initial investigation, troopers said that Hawkins was driving a vehicle when, for reasons not yet unknown, the car left the roadway, traveled down an embankment, and overturned, ejecting Hawkins from the vehicle. Obviously, he wasn't wearing the seatbelts. Troopers said Hawkins was fatally injured and was pronounced dead at the scene. Routine toxicology samples have been taken as part of the investigation. A man who died after being severely burned on Lee Street last week near I-49. The Alexandria Police Department announced this on October the 16th. APD arrived on the scene at about 9 o'clock in the morning and found 45-year-old Joshua Williams suffering from burns. Williams was transported to the hospital for treatment, but due to the severity of the burns, was later transferred to Our Lady of the Lord's burn unit in Lafayette. On Thursday, October the 17th, Williams died from the injuries. APD said the investigation is still ongoing. KLB said they reached out to the city of Alexandria to ask if this incident is being investigated as a homicide. They said they were told that the manner of death is still pending. So the question is, how does a man end up burning on I-49 near Lee Street? What happened? How did he get burned? Was gasoline poured over him? Did somebody do that to him? There's a lot of questions. No word yet if APD has tapped into any of the cameras that the city of Alexandria has in many particularly high-profile crime areas throughout the city. You can see these cameras almost at every intersection up and down Lee Street, some places Jackson Street, and certainly in the downtown area, those that have little lights warning people that they're being surveilled, not only video, but audio as well. An 11-year-old boy is dead after an accident involving a side-by-side ATV. It happened late last week or early last week, according to police in Sulphur, Louisiana. 2 children were riding a Polaris RZR when it tipped over, according to the Calcasieu Parish Sheriff's Office spokesperson, Kayla Vincent. The accident happened on October the 14th in the 900 block of Armature Road at about 11 o'clock. The 11-year-old passenger was partially thrown from the side-by-side of the accident. Deputies tried performing life-saving measures on the child. He was taken to an area hospital where he was pronounced dead. Calcasieu Parish Sheriff Stitch Guillory, the first African-American sheriff in that parish, said 2 young kids were driving an ATV. The ATV tipped over. One kid was ejected. The other was pinned under the ATV. Our deputies tried to perform life-saving measures. Stitch said the child's family identified the victim as Reed Michael Briggs, a Vincent Settlement Elementary 5th grader who played baseball for Toronto Athletics. Reed had 2 brothers. Vincent Settlement Elementary School shared a statement online which said, in part, he always had a smile on his face, bringing joy and kindness to everyone who knew him. Our hearts are especially with his mom, a dedicated member of our staff, and her family during this incredibly difficult time. A family member's fundraiser for Reed's parents surpassed his $30,000 goal on Thursday. Parents, be mindful when you put your children on these ATVs, these side-by-sides, and these vehicles, that there is a potential for them to tip over, certainly if they're going through rugged territory. And there are many fatal accidents of children who are being allowed to drive these because you don't need a license or be an adult right now to drive one. The Livingston Parish Fair is in trouble with the animal advocates after social media posts shared that live rabbits and turtles were being given away as prizes at the event. The Humane Society of Louisiana released a statement calling out the fair, which ran from October the 5th through the 13th, for awarding the animals. It asked residents to call those in charge of the fair and object to the practice. The group wrote, "We're shocked and saddened the fair administrators would allow, encourage, and endorse this practice." A member of the Livingston Parish Fair Board said its representatives were not involved with the decision and that it was enacted by Mitchell Brothers and Sons Amusement, a Slidell-based company that works with the fair and others in Louisiana. The member would not give their name. Mitchell Brothers and Sons Amusement was a vendor at the fair, but owner Gus Mitchell said his company was not involved with giving away animals. He also said those who received rabbits also were given cages and pamphlets on how to take care of the animals, and that minors weren't allowed to have them without consent. He also added that if someone didn't want a rabbit, they didn't have to take one. He says they are unfairly placing blame on the fair. Jeff Dorson, Humane Society of Louisiana director, has been attempting to get the Livingston Parish Fair to stop awarding live animals for several years. He calls it a terrible mistake made by carnivals and vendors. So we have a long history of campaigning against live animal giveaways at carnivals. The group was alerted to what was happening after a local veterinarian called on October the 11th, according to Dorson. Dorson spoke with someone on the fair board who told them they would bring it up to other members. He wants to get the National Humane Society involved. He has created Change.org petitions calling for the fair to stop giving away live animals as prizes back in 2018 and 2019. Those have garnered thousands of signatures, but they were shocked to see that this year they were still giving away live rabbits and baby turtles. Donald Don Schwab Sr., former president of the Terrebonne Parish, a star fullback for Louisiana State University and a beloved high school and college football coach, died Saturday in Houma after an extended illness. His family confirmed he was just 81 years old. Relatives, friends, teammates, former players, and co-workers remember Schwab as a positive, humble, and selfless mentor whose guidance touched many lives. As a star fullback for LSU back in 1964, he led the Southeastern Conference in rushing with 683 yards on 160 attempts. Schwab had a career 310 carries at LSU for 1,454 yards. He had 5 career 100-yard rushing games for the school. After graduating from LSU in 1967, Schwab took a position teaching and coaching track at football at Sam Barth School for Boys in Metairie. He continued coaching football at Central High School in Baton Rouge and H.L. Bourgeois High School in Gray. Schwab served as an offensive coordinator at Nicholls State University before taking over as head coach at Vanderbilt Catholic High School in Houma, where he coached his son in 1987 and 1988. Hundreds of frozen waffle products sold in leading retailers, including Walmart and Target, are being recalled because of possible contamination by the Listeria bacteria, according to the manufacturer. Treehouse Foods said Friday that it has issued a voluntary recall after discovering possible contamination during routine testing at its plant. It said the U.S. Food and Drug Administration and the Canadian food regulators are aware of the recall. Listeria infections can cause mild illness, including fever and diarrhea, or more serious problems. The illness is most dangerous to pregnant women, newborns, adults over 65, and people with weakened immune systems, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease and Control. Hellacious rain hit heavy rain that slammed into Baton Rouge and other parts of South Louisiana 3 years ago this May surpassed the historic and devastating August 2016 floods for short-term and localized intensity, representing another signal of climate change's impact, a new study by LSU and other researchers have found. The rain of May of 2021 caused more than $1 billion in damage in South Louisiana and Texas, damaged around 2,700 homes, and led to 5 deaths in Louisiana, while triggering tensions in the Baton Rouge area over flood control and new development. Published recently in a peer-reviewed journal, Physical Geography, the new analysis concluded the rainfall totals approached a 750-year storm for a 6-hour period, roughly near Bayou Manchac and the East Baton Rouge-Iberville parish line. South of Lake Charles and north of the city's airport, the rain approached 14.5 inches in 6 hours, surpassing an 800-year storm, which has a 0.125% chance of happening in any year. Developed by LSU, Southern Illinois University, and other university and private sector resources, the study used a computer model that combined 482 actual rainfall measurements across southeast Texas and south and central Louisiana, along with radar-based rainfall estimates to reach its conclusion about the amount of rain that fell across thousands of square miles in both states. Before Louisiana requires public schools to post the Ten Commandments, the state must convince a court that its controversial new mandate doesn't run afoul of the United States Constitution. On today, a federal judge will hear arguments by lawyers for Louisiana's parents seeking to block the law, which gives public schools and colleges until January 1st to exhibit the Ten Commandments in every classroom. Those groups say the law, which Governor Jeff Landry signed into law in June, unconstitutionally infringes on students' religious freedoms. Lawyers for the state want the court to toss the lawsuit, which they say is premature because the displays haven't gone up yet. The state also argues the law is constitutional because the Ten Commandments are embedded in American law and traditions. In July, the state and 5 parishes where the plaintiff's children attend school agreed not to enact the law until a hearing could be held in the Middle District of Louisiana. The parishes were East Baton Rouge, Livingston, Orleans, St. Tammany, and Vernon. After today's hearings, Judge John DeGravelle, who was appointed by President Barack Obama, will decide whether to block the law statewide until he issues a final ruling on the legal challenge. And finally, LSU controlled the line of scrimmage, holding Arkansas to 38 yards on the ground. The Tigers rushed for 158 yards and then needed to drain time. In the fourth quarter, they ran 11 times on a 14-play, 8-minute touchdown drive that iced the game. November. Now 6-1 LSU is firmly in contention for a college football playoff berth. It almost seems improbable after a season-opening loss to Southern Cal and the way the team struggled at times early in their schedule. But the number 8 Tigers have won 6 straight before the play at 6:30 p.m. Saturday at number 14, Texas A&M. That game will put the winner alone at the top of the Southeastern Conference standings heading into the final month of the regular season. Texas A&M 4-0, LSU 3-0 are both undefeated in SEC play. Every other team has at least one conference loss. I'm Tony Brown. That's your statewide news you can use on this Monday, October 21st. Eyes Open Radio at 11:10 a.m. KTTP. Have a safe and a blessed day.
Tired of walking with constant pain because of feet problems? Look no further than my personal podiatrist, Dr. Ogali Leye, with Natchitoches Foot and Ankle Specialists. They're located at 415 Beansville Street, right behind the Natchitoches Hospital. We all know that every step we take depends on the condition of our feet. Dr. Ogali Leye is a former college athlete, also has vast experience in sports medicine. Dr. Leye treats a wide range of foot and ankle problems like diabetic foot care, bunions, chronic sores, problems, infections, ingrown toenails, planters, warts, wound care, and more. Professionals at Foot and Ankle Specialists in Natchitoches can help you get back on the good foot. Call today at 318-357-3668. That's 318-357-3668. So whether you need foot or ankle surgery because of a sports injury, or just need constant foot care because of diabetes, put your best foot forward and call Dr. Ogali Leye with Natchitoches Foot and Ankle Specialist today at 318-357-3668. Dr. Ogali Leye with Foot and Ankle Specialist in Natchitoches, 415 Beansville Street, the only podiatrist in Sunlaw that is one step ahead of everyone else.
All right, it's Monday, October the 21st. Let's check out our forecast right here on Eyes Open at 11:10 a.m. KTPP. Let's go live to Andy Tinkler, meteorologist with the National Weather Service out of Lake Charles. Hey, Andy, how you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing well.
Eden, man. I felt like I was in the Garden of Eden this weekend. Just beautiful. I mean, clear skies. The temperature was just perfect. I stood outside, told my wife, baby, have you been outside? She says, I looked out the window. I said, no. Looking out the window is not good enough. Come outside and just check out just the most perfect weather that I've had. I wish it would last forever, but unfortunately it won't, will it?
No, the temperatures will warm a little bit from today and into Tuesday and Wednesday. High temperatures today will be in the mid-80s, so a little bit warmer than what we had been across central Louisiana for the last couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
But by Wednesday, it's going to be right around 90, and that's going to kind of hold throughout Thursday and Friday. But no rain. It's going to be dry. Otherwise, mornings will be fairly cool. So your mornings and evenings will be very pleasant. Middle of the day will be a little toasty.
Okay. Well, we'll take that, Andy. I appreciate it. Get some sunshine on your face today, okay?
I'll try to.
All right, my friend. Take care. Thank you.
You too.
All right. Andy Tinkler, a meteorologist with the National Weather Service out of Lake Charles, Louisiana, with your Monday, October 21st forecast.
I don't know about you guys, but I got my sticker. Yes, I voted early. I was at the polls when it opened up at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. Matter of fact, my business partner, Martin Johnson, met me up there. No lines here in Rapides Parish to speak of. There was a handful of people in line, but, of course, early voting going all the way into October the 29th. As people are casting their ballots, record numbers. According to the news, more than 18 million people have early voted this weekend across the country. That's a whole lot of people, but it's still a big opportunity because early voting is very crucial in every election. It didn't used to be. 20 years ago, early voting wasn't the centerpiece, but now it is because whatever happens in early voting, that really makes up the outcome of the election. Let's go live this morning to the state's capital of Baton Rouge, where I have my good friend and your friend, Senator Cleo Fields, and of course he has been on the campaign trail, beating the pavement. He was at Southern University's homecoming. It was a packed, great event, and Senator, welcome back. Always a pleasure to have you on.
Always good to be on. I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana today.
Okay. I never know where you're going to be, man.
Yeah, but look, it is so important, Tony, that every person get out and vote early, because there is no guarantee that things, nobody knows what's going to happen on November the 5th. Mm-hmm. Things do happen. So you have an opportunity to go to the polls, and you can vote early until October 29th. So I encourage people, when you get a moment, maybe for lunch, or if not during the week, this Saturday. The polls are open every single day with the exception of Sunday. And I just want to encourage every single person, please go out and please cast that vote. Is so important.
You've seen voting trends change. You've seen the dynamics of elections change over the course of the last 40 years or so, having been on the campaign trail for a lot of that time. Why now is early voting now the centerpiece of elections when, 30, 40 years ago, it wasn't so?
Well, because there are so many people, that were denied access to the ballot box. There were people who had to, in southern states like Louisiana, to register a vote in just in order to register to vote. Some people had literacy tests. They had
poll tax.
And the poll tax. To state the preamble to the Constitution. How many bubbles are in a bar? So those are the kind of things that many of our ancestors had to go through. And we have worked hard to change these laws. Voting ought to be an easy process. It ought not be complicated. And so we didn't have early voting in Louisiana years ago. We had to vote only on election day. Many states didn't have early voting. So now we've expanded the voting opportunity in the state, and this voting period is expanded even longer than normal because this is a presidential election. So you have 10 days of early voting, and that's a good thing, because I do think we need to expand, access to the voting box, and I want people to take advantage of it. Just please, pastors, get your congregations and make sure, we get, folk on the phone to call every member of your congregation and make sure that they get out and vote. There's nothing wrong with using the church vans to take your, congregation
to the polls
to actually go and vote. It's just so important, and it's necessary. It's necessary that every single person, please get out and vote. Dr. King said, no man is free until all men are free. Our freedom is our vote. So please, just get up go out and vote.
Absolutely. Now that we're voting, I see this big push both on the Republican and the Democrat side, specifically trying to target black men. We had President Barack Obama go out there and say something that many black men thought was kind of offensive, or may have thought offensive. I didn't think it was. I thought he was just kind of speaking the truth. But you have many of my friends who've called me, who've interjected about it. Why this strong focus on black men who many feel, who may be voting for Trump for whatever reason, that feel that the Democratic Party has never done anything for them, and that.
Well, I just think every person should vote, whether you're a male or a female. Every single person should go out and vote. I was in church in Shreveport on yesterday, and the pastor opened up the doors of the church, and all males stood up to invite people to join the church. And I told the pastor, I told the congregation, I said, that is remarkable. Because black men show leadership, are showing leadership in that church.
Yes.
And several people joined the church. Look, every single person should just get out and vote. And I think people will, and I think black males, black females, are actually going to go out and vote. And I just think it's a crucial, critical election, and every single vote count. I'm in the place where a person won by one vote, and then we have to have the election all over again.
Yes,
I was with him on yesterday, Henry Whitehorn. Look, that should show you that every single vote counts and matters. And I often tell people, Election Day is that day of the day of equalize. Everybody is equal that day. No matter what color you are, no matter your income bracket. None of those things matter on Election Day, because everybody has one single vote, and I urge people to use it.
Now, while we know that the numbers, particularly here in Louisiana, have been very dismal. I think the last gubernatorial race, it was, just a little above 30%, give or take 35, maybe 37% was still dismal. And even in the African-American community, it was probably half or even much lower than that. There's a big chunk of the voting bloc that traditionally have felt left out, that that they felt that the elections didn't matter, the issues didn't matter to them, but that seems to be changing, particularly with these younger people. Do you think here in the state of Louisiana that we've done enough to encourage younger people, those people who are now 18 years old, to get out there? Because I'm seeing it across the country, and I'm kind of wondering, are we seeing that same growing trend here in the state of Louisiana?
Well, I don't think we ever do enough. To get people, encourage people to go out and vote. But we are working, and Reverend Jesse Jackson, I think I've said this on your show before, he said there are no apathetic voters, they're just uninspired. And it's our job to inspire voters to get out and go and vote. Young voters, I'll be on Southern University, Shreveport's campus today to try to encourage and inspire young people to actually get up and go out and vote. Tomorrow we'll be on Southern University Baton Rouge campus to get young people to go and vote. People got to have a reason to vote. They got to be inspired to vote, because today, for us to say, people died to give us this right. A lot of young people are like, okay, I don't want to hear that. But at the end of the day, it takes us connecting the dots. Here's why, your vote is significant, and here's why your vote matters. Your vote is your voice. And I just think we got to just keep inspiring people to get out and vote, and make it a custom. Make it something you do often, not just during presidential election. Vote during the city council election, during the mayor's election. Vote every time, there's an opportunity to vote, because your vote really does matter.
Absolutely. In Louisiana, before I let you go, has the second largest African American population in the country, only second to Mississippi. We make up a third, 33%, which is the largest, in the country of African Americans, second to Mississippi. Senator, if we tap into our voter strength, our voter prowess, if we can get even that vote up to as much as 50%, we can certainly change the dynamic of politics in this state.
No question about it. And listen, I often get to talking and forget to tell you, I'm on the ballot. I'm number 21 on the ballot. I'm running for Congress. Louisiana has a significant number of African Americans, and we do well when it comes to turning people out to vote. We will do well this year, this election. People, will take this election serious. People know that there's a lot at stake, and I just really believe that people are going to get up, and they're going to get out and vote. And, they're going to have 11 days to do it, 10 early voting, and then, November 5th on Election Day.
Let me say this, because you've been traversing the state, you have your ear down, to the smallest of the communities. Are people saying the same thing here in District 6? And what is it that they're talking about that they're concerned about?
Oh, people, people want a congressman that they can talk to. I mean, there are people who, don't feel that Congress is connected to the people. They're like, that I don't know my congressman. You ask most people, who's your congressman? They say, I don't know. And we got to connect Congress to the people. The people should know who their congressman is, and their congressman must deliver resources to their respective communities. And that's why people are not, apathetic. They're just uninspired. When I was in Congress, I held a record number of town hall meetings, more town hall meetings than any other member of Congress. Why? Because I wanted Congress to be connected to the people. And and so we got to keep inspiring people. There are people in this district that don't have quality access to the internet, broadband. That's to me, that hurts our whole growth, because if our young people don't have access to the internet at a young age, so that they can learn and explore, then they're at a disadvantage. We got to do more with early childhood education. I've talked about that like a broken record. We got to invest in our kids early in life, because if we don't, we're going to invest in them, later in life, and that's going to be jails and prisons, and that's unfortunate. So we got to give kids a head start. We need to put more money in head start programs in early childhood education. We got to raise the minimum wage. There are people who work hard every day, and at the end of the day, they're still poor. And it's not because they're lazy. It's because we're not paying them for the work they do.
I agree. Those are definitely some of the key issues, Senator. Always a pleasure, my friend. We wish you well. We pray for you traveling grace as you traverse the state, certainly up until the election day, November 5th. But we'll have you back on hopefully a couple times before then. You take care, my friend, and be safe.
Thank you.
All right. Senator Cleo Fields talked about the importance of voting, period. And to get out there and early voting is all the way up until October the 29th, except on Sunday. So polls open at 8. I don't know what time they close, but, you can go online and find out. I cast my vote, and I challenge everybody to cast yours. More Eyes Open when we come back. Don't go away.
Rapides Primary Healthcare Centers now has convenient locations to better serve residents of Central Louisiana. Now you can get affordable medical, dental, and mental health care at 1217 Willow Glen River Road and 605 Brown Bend Road in Alexandria and 1007 Shirley Road in Bunkie. If you need quality health care for your baby from prenatal, during pregnancy, and up until adulthood, then look no further than Rapides Primary Health Care Centers. Rapides Primary Health Care Centers continues to be the affordable, timely answer to all your family's health care needs. All services are available to anyone regardless of their ability to pay. You or your family will never be turned away. Rapides Primary is a certified KidMed site with a sliding fee scale. Payment is based on income and size of family. Medicaid, Medicare, and most commercial insurance is accepted for all medical services. For appointments and information on all medical services, call 318-487-4400. That's 318-487-4400. Rapides Primary Health Care Center, now with 3 locations to better serve Central Louisiana. A new beginning to quality health care.
Wake up, everybody, no more sleeping in bed.
Greetings to all families of Cenla and voters of District 6. This is Peter Williams, the only candidate qualified with the knowledge and understanding of the overall makeup of the newly formed 6th Congressional District. This is validated by my extensive agriculture and forestry business background and personal proven commitment to church, family, and community development advocacy for over 40 years. During these years, I constantly advocated for families in both urban and rural communities, seeking equality and program accessibility to those without a voice and left behind. Today, I ask you to consider letting me be your voice, your advocate for all the families of Cenla and District 6. Please vote on November 5th, Peter Williams, number 24 for Congress, and I'll be the voice and will not let you down. Thank you very much.
I am Peter Williams, and I approve this message.
Looking for the perfect place to host your next event? The Community Center at England Air Park can make your special occasion memorable. Reserve the Community Center at England Air Park for your next wedding, reunion, or corporate function. The possibilities are endless with our column-free main room and spacious outdoor patio. Have a favorite caterer, decorator, or band? The choice is yours. For information regarding cost, rental agreements, and event planning, visit englandairpark.org.
Listen live every weekday morning at 6 a.m. for Eyes Open with Tony Brown Radio Show. The KTTP app allows you to listen to the best of old school R&B and today's hits 24/7, all day, every day. With the KTTP app available now in the App Store or Google Play.
You're listening to Eyes Open with Tony Brown. Serious talk for serious people.
We're back right here in the Premium Morning News Magazine. Breast cancer, it's an ugly beast. And if you've ever had a loved one, a family member, to go through it, if you see it and close up, you will know it's something that you would never ever wish on your worst enemy. I just lost my baby sister to breast cancer after a 5-year battle. She fought it. She fought it like the world champion, like Muhammad Ali. She fought it for 5 years. She'll tell them I'm gonna call them back. My apologies. It's like a doctor's office. But we fought it she fought it for 5 years. She had beaten it temporarily, at least on 2 occasions, where the cancer went to remission, but it kept coming back. And this 3rd time it came back, and her body couldn't take it, and her kidneys didn't start back up, and she was tired. Dialysis was made available for her, and she didn't want to do that. So she went home to her family, her 7-year-old daughter, Charlene or Charlie, her 9-year-old son, Hilton Bud Caesar III, and her husband Hilton Jr., and now she's gone. And I can't stress enough, because I lost my mother-in-law. My wife, the beautiful Bianca Brown, lost Althea Sellers to breast cancer. So it has impacted my family on both sides of my family side. And the thing about breast cancer, if it's diagnosed, particularly in African-American women, usually it's diagnosed too late. And once it's diagnosed, it's more aggressive. We don't know why, but I tell you what, maybe my good friend Dr. David Hope can shed some light on maybe why this is, because so many diseases disproportionately affect African Americans, and when it's diagnosed, whether it's colon cancer in men or prostate cancer rather, it's the same thing. It hits us, and then it's aggressive. It's like it's angry, and it does more damage. But a lot of this has to do with early detection and us just not staying and keeping up with our medical appointments. Dr. David Holcomb, my former medical director for the Office of Public Health and our local medical expert. Doc, breast cancer is just, you have some people who say they beat it, and they do for a few years, and then it comes back. But, a lot of times when it comes back, certainly in black women, which is aggressive anyway, it just becomes more aggressive, and it just not only destroys the body, but fighting it can certainly destroy the spirit as well.
Yes, breast cancer is just a bad actor, and there is not a higher incidence of breast cancer. I mean, those are new cases in black women versus white women, but there's a higher death. There's a higher rate of death, mortality, and it often is related to delays in diagnosis or difficulties in treatment and that sort of thing. But it is a bad actor. And first of all, it's not just one cancer. There's all kinds of breast cancers, and there's all kinds of estrogen-dependent, not dependent, different factors that are there. So it's a very complex disease. It's not just one, monolithic cancer. It's many, many forms, and some are much more aggressive and some than others, and some have much worse prognoses.
How big is what we are putting into our bodies, particularly women, even on top of their bodies? Let's say I've heard people talk about these relaxers and some of the chemicals that black women have to use to straighten their hair, maybe being a factor, if not in breast cancer, but maybe even in uterine cancer or getting these fibroid tumors. I've heard so much, and I'm confused as to what actual things that black women can do to decrease their chances of getting cancer. And I remember some 10 years ago, the actress Angelina Jolie, taking the DNA test. Similar to what I took, I think mine was called the Boston Hearts exam, where they went in on a DNA level and told me that what I had a predisposition for, from a genetic perspective, looking at my DNA, and I was able to head off. They had me start taking niacin, vitamin D, and a couple of other vitamins 10 years ago, and all my levels are great now. Why isn't this particular test like Angelina Jolie? It was offered to her, where she went in, saw a genetic predisposition in her family and a high rate of breast cancer, and she had a double mastectomy. Before it even got to the point, she had a double mastectomy. Similarly, I had my entire large intestines removed, colon cancer, as a result of not only Crohn's disease, but the higher predisposition of me down the line of getting colon cancer. So I did something similar to what she did. Why isn't this being done or talked about in the medical community to just nip it off in the bud, because cut off the fuse to the dynamite before it's even lit?
Well, one of the problems is, of course, that it isn't just one breast cancer. There's a whole bunch of them, and the test that's the most most known is the BRCA gene. And if you have someone in your family that has breast cancer and has been tested for this, then it certainly makes sense to be genetically tested. And some women, as you described, will go ahead and get a bilateral mastectomy. Mm-hmm. It's really, this is a very common disease, and it's the leading cause of cancer death in women. So this is not a little problem; it's a big problem. The other thing that you alluded to was your loved one had, thought she gotten rid of it and had periods of remission, and then she ultimately had a relapse.
Yes.
This is super common in breast cancer, and if you have a colon cancer and they take it out, and you survive 5 years, you're going to have a normal survival. That is not true of breast cancer.
Yeah.
And a number, I saw them myself, and they're certainly well established, a number of women will have relapses at 5, 10, and even 15 years.
Wow.
Which makes it, I always warned, women would come in, I'm cured and all that, and I said, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but you better stay alert and be checked and so forth. And it happens just exactly like you described. 10 or 15 years later, because it's a, quote, systemic disease, unquote. It's not just limited to the breast. It will get around in the body and then manifest itself many, many, many years later, despite, perfect treatment.
Wow. And what you described, exactly what happened to my baby sister. So what is the medical rule now for women as far as getting testing for breast cancer? I remember it was a big deal back in the day. They put their arm over their head and, feel little lumps around the breast. Are women still doing that? And have we got to the point of medical technology where, because I hear women complaining. My wife in particular, when she goes to the doctor, she says it's painful. They put their teeth in this device like a vice. And they're squeezing it and poking it. It's a painful experience for women. And why is it so archaic? And why haven't we done a better job medically to make this more, a better situation and more friendly and less painful for women?
Well, you're describing a mammogram, and effectively the breasts are compressed. It's a difficult exam because. Especially if the breasts have a lot of dense tissue, they have they have a lot of fibrosis and so forth. It makes it very difficult. What's really changed hasn't been the kind of test, although they will do sonograms and other things as well, or even CT scans of the breast. It's getting better. But what's really changed is previously you started your mammograms at 50. And then it dropped down to 45.
Oh.
And now it's at 40.
Yeah.
And it may even be younger if you have breast cancer in your family. So the mammogram or CT scan of the breast are starting earlier and earlier because of this. You said, what can women do? What are they putting in their bodies? What are they... Well, this may be particularly bad news for your listeners, but obesity actually promotes over 13 kinds of cancers, including breast cancer.
Oh, wow.
So we tend to poo-poo obesity as just something we don't have to worry about, or it's just a curiosity, or it's there to stay. It actually affects tumor, and then there are maybe all sorts of things in the environment that promote it, but that are not well defined.
So this medicines like Ozempic and Wegovy is now being used, certainly to lose weight, but the benefits to that is losing the weight, you decrease the amount of chances you getting these various cancers you're talking about.
Yeah, it's actually incredible. The whole thing is incredible, but it's a byproduct of treating obesity rather than an anti-cancer effect as such. 40,000 women die every year from cancer, breast cancer. Still, it's a real thing. Don't ignore it. start your mammograms early. Breast self-exams are, they're okay to do that, and it's a good thing, but it's not going to really probably detect an early-stage cancer.
But, with those sort of results, and I know that the tests are still out and the studies, haven't been conclusive or haven't been long enough, but it would seem like to me, from a monetary standpoint and just from a health standpoint, that the insurance companies would cover these sorts of medicines because it would save them money and it would save people's lives. But does that make too much sense?
The problem is there's always a cost-benefit ratio. And if the price point of these things is too high, then it loses its cost-benefit. And that may sound very cold to people who are suffering from any particular disease, that they have to figure out the costs and the benefits, but they have to. And if you only have a limited number of healthcare dollars, you've got to decide what's giving you the biggest bang for your buck, even though you may know that certain medications are actually extremely helpful.
Yeah, but what's concerning and disheartening to me is when it comes to the Ozempic and these other type drugs that you and I have talked about, you can get the same drug in a third world country for maybe a 75% reduction, and even in Great Britain I saw where it was like $30 a pop. Here in America, $150 a pop. Well, what's up with that? How can we explain that to people that the same product coming from the same company is offered $100 cheaper in countries and even third world countries than it is right here in the good old US of A?
Yeah, well, our healthcare system is very complex, and as the manufacturers in Denmark said, the United States has a very curious and unique price structure.
Well, the price structure seems like, we can get away with it. That's the price structure. We can get away with it in America, in other countries maybe not so much so. And certainly Great Britain, we're talking about another superpower here, and they're being offered, $100 cheaper for the same drug. Maybe like you said, it's in Denmark. I don't know what the case may be, but it seems to be very problematic that we got the same drug coming from the same company, and some people have to pay hundreds of dollars for it while other people are spending just dollars. It doesn't make any sense, and I think the government, the Congress, needs to get involved with this thing and have some sort of hearings, because it's not just with this particular drug. It's with many drugs that are life-changing for people. And I know I'm preaching to the choir, Doc, so I'm going to let you go. I just got to dip a little bit just because I can.
Well, you're absolutely right. The same product will cost $1,000 a month in the United States and $100 a month in Great Britain.
Doesn't make any sense.
10 times less.
And how do you justify that? There's no justification in anything like that.
It's very complicated because certain laws in the United States allowed drug companies to be to promote innovation. To research and development. They said, okay, you can have your drugs under patent for 25 years, and there will be no price controls. That was supposed to promote innovation, and which it does. It certainly does, because when there's such gigantic profit margins, then, boy, these companies are going to be cranking out things as fast as they can, plus advertising them to the general public to get them used while they're still under patent and there's no price control.
Wow. Yeah, so for them, the sky's the limit.
Yep. The market's the limit.
The market's the limit, yeah. Doc, always a pleasure. Thank you for coming clean and staying away nasty as always, my friend. You take care, and thank you for the access, okay?
Take care.
You too, sir. All right, Dr. David Holcomb, Medical Director, former Medical Director for the Office of Public Health, our medical expert here, who also speaks truth to power. More eyes open when we come back. Don't go away.
You're listening to Eyes Open with Tony Brown. Serious talk for serious people.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tony Brown. This is your statewide news you can use on this Monday, October the 21st. News today being brought to you by Dr. Ogali Eleye with Natchitoches Foot and Ankle Specialist. One person is dead, found in a vehicle submerged in a pond on Sunday, according to the East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office. The Sunday Sheriff's deputies were notified of a vehicle submerged in a pond at about 4:40 in the morning on Bluebonnet Boulevard at Harvest Way. St. George firefighters went to the pond and recovered the body of 40-year-old Alex Gonzalez Hernandez, who was driving the vehicle. Investigators determined Gonzalez Hernandez was traveling north on Bluebonnet Boulevard when the vehicle left the roadway and crashed into a wooden fence on the right side of the road. The vehicle then traveled through a tree, causing the tree to snap in two before landing in the pond. The vehicle was completely submerged. When law enforcement arrived, it is unclear how fast Gonzalez Hernandez was traveling. An autopsy will determine the cause of death. Additional information was not immediately available. At least 5 people were injured in an early morning shooting on Greenwell Springs Road. And emergency medical services said on Sunday EMS responded to the shooting in the 9700 block of Greenwell Springs Road in Baton Rouge at about 4 o'clock in the morning Sunday. 5 people were taken to the hospital in an ambulance. The conditions of the 5 injured people are unknown. Baton Rouge police are investigating the shooting. Additional information, again, not available. That means no suspects so far in custody. Louisiana State Police reported that 2 people were killed on Saturday due to separate car accidents on Louisiana Highway 107 in Avoyelles Parish. Troopers said they responded to the scene of the first fatal crash at about 6:30 p.m. on Highway 107 near Center Point. This was a 2-vehicle crash that reportedly killed 62-year-old Harold Gaspard of Marksville. After their initial investigation, troopers determined that Gaspard was driving a pickup truck south on 107 when, for unknown reasons, his vehicle crossed the oncoming lane and struck a car head-on. Gaspard was reportedly wearing a seatbelt, was fatally injured, and was pronounced dead at the scene. Routine toxicology samples have been collected. The investigation is continuing. State police said they then responded to the second fatal accident again on Highway 107 later that evening at around 10:20 p.m. The single vehicle crash was near Pinks Lane and reportedly claimed the life of 37-year-old Terrence Hawkins. Following an initial investigation, troopers said that Hawkins was driving a vehicle when, for reasons not yet unknown, the car left the roadway, traveled down an embankment, and overturned, ejecting Hawkins from the vehicle. Obviously, he wasn't wearing the seatbelts. Troopers said Hawkins was fatally injured and was pronounced dead at the scene. Routine toxicology samples have been taken as part of the investigation. A man who died after being severely burned on Lee Street last week near I-49. The Alexandria Police Department announced this on October the 16th. APD arrived on the scene at about 9 o'clock in the morning and found 45-year-old Joshua Williams suffering from burns. Williams was transported to the hospital for treatment, but due to the severity of the burns, was later transferred to Our Lady of the Lord's burn unit in Lafayette. On Thursday, October the 17th, Williams died from the injuries. APD said the investigation is still ongoing. KLB said they reached out to the city of Alexandria to ask if this incident is being investigated as a homicide. They said they were told that the manner of death is still pending. So the question is, how does a man end up burning on I-49 near Lee Street? What happened? How did he get burned? Was gasoline poured over him? Did somebody do that to him? There's a lot of questions. No word yet if APD has tapped into any of the cameras that the city of Alexandria has in many particularly high-profile crime areas throughout the city. You can see these cameras almost at every intersection up and down Lee Street, some places Jackson Street, and certainly in the downtown area, those that have little lights warning people that they're being surveilled, not only video, but audio as well. An 11-year-old boy is dead after an accident involving a side-by-side ATV. It happened late last week or early last week, according to police in Sulphur, Louisiana. 2 children were riding a Polaris RZR when it tipped over, according to the Calcasieu Parish Sheriff's Office spokesperson, Kayla Vincent. The accident happened on October the 14th in the 900 block of Armature Road at about 11 o'clock. The 11-year-old passenger was partially thrown from the side-by-side of the accident. Deputies tried performing life-saving measures on the child. He was taken to an area hospital where he was pronounced dead. Calcasieu Parish Sheriff Stitch Guillory, the first African-American sheriff in that parish, said 2 young kids were driving an ATV. The ATV tipped over. One kid was ejected. The other was pinned under the ATV. Our deputies tried to perform life-saving measures, Stitch said. The child's family identified the victim as Reed Michael Briggs, a Vincent Settlement Elementary fifth grader who played baseball for Toronto Athletics. Reed had two brothers. Vincent Settlement Elementary School shared a statement online which said, in part, he always had a smile on his face, bringing joy and kindness to everyone who knew him. Our hearts are especially with his mom, a dedicated member of our staff, and her family during this incredibly difficult time. A family member's fundraiser for Reed's parents surpassed his $30,000 goal on Thursday. Parents, be mindful when you put your children on these ATVs, these side-by-sides, and these vehicles, that there is a potential for them to tip over, certainly if they're going through rugged territory. And there are many fatal accidents of children who are being allowed to drive these because you don't need a license or be an adult right now to drive one. The Livingston Parish Fair is in trouble with the animal advocates after social media posts shared that live rabbits and turtles were being given away as prizes at the event. The Humane Society of Louisiana released a statement calling out the fair, which ran from October the 5th through the 13th for awarding the animals. It asked residents to call those in charge of the fair and object to the practice. The group wrote, "We're shocked and saddened the fair administrators would allow, encourage, and endorse this practice." A member of the Livingston Parish Fair Board said its representatives were not involved with the decision and that it was enacted by Mitchell Brothers and Sons Amusement, a Slidell-based company that works with the fair and others in Louisiana. The member would not give their name. Mitchell Brothers and Sons Amusement was a vendor at the fair, but owner Gus Mitchell said his company was not involved with giving away animals. He also said those who received rabbits also were given cages and pamphlets on how to take care of the animals, and that minors weren't allowed to have them without consent. He also added that if someone didn't want a rabbit, they didn't have to take one. He says they are unfairly placing blame on the fair. Jeff Dorson, Humane Society of Louisiana director, has been attempting to get the Livingston Parish Fair to stop awarding live animals for several years. He calls it a terrible mistake made by carnivals and vendors. So we have a long history of campaigning against live animal giveaways at carnivals. The group was alerted to what was happening after a local veterinarian called on October the 11th, according to Dorson. Dorson spoke with someone on the fair board who told them they would bring it up to other members. He wants to get the National Humane Society involved. He has created Change.org petitions calling for the fair to stop giving away live animals as prizes back in 2018 and 2019. Those have garnered thousands of signatures, but they were shocked to see that this year they were still giving away live rabbits and baby turtles. Donald Don Schwab Sr., former president of the Terrebonne Parish, a star fullback for Louisiana State University and a beloved high school and college football coach, died Saturday in Houma after an extended illness. His family confirmed he was just 81 years old. Relatives, friends, teammates, former players, and co-workers remember Schwab as a positive, humble, and selfless mentor whose guidance touched many lives. As a star fullback for LSU back in 1964, he led the Southeastern Conference in rushing with 683 yards on 160 attempts. Schwab had a career 310 carries at LSU for 1,454 yards. He had 5 career 100-yard rushing games for the school. After graduating from LSU in 1967, Schwab took a position teaching and coaching track at football at Sam Barth School for Boys in Metairie. He continued coaching football at Central High School in Baton Rouge and H.L. Bourgeois High School in Gray. Schwab served as an offensive coordinator at Nicholls State University before taking over as head coach at Vanderbilt Catholic High School in Houma, where he coached his son in 1987 and 1988. Hundreds of frozen waffle products sold in leading retailers, including Walmart and Target, are being recalled because of possible contamination by the Listeria bacteria, according to the manufacturer. Treehouse Foods said Friday that it has issued a voluntary recall after discovering possible contamination during routine testing at its plant. It said the U.S. Food and Drug Administration and the Canadian food regulators are aware of the recall. Listeria infections can cause mild illness, including fever and diarrhea, or more serious problems. The illness is most dangerous to pregnant women, newborns, adults over 65, and people with weakened immune systems, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease and Control. Hellacious rain hit heavy rain that slammed into Baton Rouge and other parts of South Louisiana 3 years ago this May surpassed the historic and devastating August 2016 floods for short-term and localized intensity, representing another signal of climate change's impact, a new study by LSU and other researchers have found. The rain of May of 2021 caused more than $1 billion in damage in South Louisiana and Texas, damaged around 2,700 homes, and led to 5 deaths in Louisiana, while triggering tensions in the Baton Rouge area over flood control and new development. Published recently in the peer-reviewed journal Physical Geography, the new analysis concluded the rainfall totals approached a 750-year storm for a 6-hour period, roughly near Bayou Manchac and the East Baton Rouge-Iberville parish line. South of Lake Charles and north of the city's airport, the rain approached 14.5 inches in 6 hours, surpassing an 800-year storm, which has a 0.125% chance of happening in any year. Developed by LSU, Southern Illinois University, and other university and private sector resources, the study used a computer model that combined 482 actual rainfall measurements across southeast Texas and south and central Louisiana, along with radar-based rainfall estimates to reach its conclusion about the amount of rain that fell across thousands of square miles in both states. Before Louisiana requires public schools to post the 10 Commandments, the state must convince a court that its controversial new mandate doesn't run afoul of the United States Constitution. On today, a federal judge will hear arguments by lawyers for Louisiana's parents seeking to block the law, which gives public schools and colleges until January 1st to exhibit the 10 Commandments in every classroom. Those groups say the law, which Governor Jeff Landry signed into law in June, unconstitutionally infringes on students' religious freedoms. Lawyers for the state want the court to toss the lawsuit, which they say is premature because the displays haven't gone up yet. The state also argues the law is constitutional because the 10 Commandments are embedded in American law and traditions. In July, the state and 5 parishes where the plaintiff's children attend school agreed not to enact the law until a hearing could be held in the Middle District of Louisiana. The parishes were East Baton Rouge, Livingston, Orleans, St. Tammany, and Vernon. After today's hearings, Judge John DeGravelle, who was appointed by President Barack Obama, will decide whether to block the law statewide until he issues a final ruling on the legal challenge. And finally, LSU controlled the line of scrimmage, holding Arkansas to 38 yards on the ground. The Tigers rushed for 158 yards and then needed to drain time. In the fourth quarter, they ran 11 times on a 14-play, 8-minute touchdown drive that iced the game. November. Now 6-1 LSU is firmly in contention for a college football playoff berth. It almost seems improbable after a season-opening loss to Southern Cal and the way the team struggled at times early in their schedule. But the number 8 Tigers have won 6 straight before the play at 6:30 p.m. Saturday at number 14, Texas A&M. That game will put the winner alone at the top of the Southeastern Conference standings heading into the final month of the regular season. Texas A&M 4-0, LSU 3-0 are both undefeated in SEC play. Every other team has at least one conference loss. I'm Tony Brown. That's your statewide news you can use on this Monday, October 21st. For Eyes Open Radio at 1110 a.m. KTTP. Have a safe and a blessed day.
Tired of walking with constant pain because of feet problems? Look no further than my personal podiatrist, Dr. Ogali Leye, with Natchitoches Foot and Ankle Specialists. They're located at 415 Beanville Street, right behind the Natchitoches Hospital. We all know that every step we take depends on the condition of our feet. Dr. Ogali Leye is a former college athlete, also has vast experience in sports medicine. Dr. Elaye treats a wide range of foot and ankle problems like diabetic foot care, bunions, chronic sores, problems, infections, ingrown toenails, planters, warts, wound care, and more. Professionals at Foot and Ankle Specialists in Natchitoches can help you get back on the good foot. Call today at 318-357-3668. That's 318-357-3668. So whether you need foot or ankle surgery because of a sports injury, or just need constant foot care because of diabetes, put your best foot forward and call Dr. Ogali Elaye with Natchitoches Foot and Ankle Specialist today at 318-357-3668. Dr. Ogali Elaye with Foot and Ankle Specialist in Natchitoches, 415 Greenwood Street, the only podiatrist in Cenla that is one step ahead of everyone else.
All right, it's Monday, October the 21st. Let's check out our forecast right here on Eyes Open at 11:10 a.m. KTPP. Let's go live to Andy Tinkler, meteorologist with the National Weather Service out of Lake Charles. Hey, Andy, how you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing well.
Eden, man. I felt like I was in the Garden of Eden this weekend. Just beautiful. I mean, clear skies. The temperature was just perfect. I stood outside, told my wife, baby, have you been outside? She says, I look out the window. I said, no. Looking out the window is not good enough. Come outside and just check out just the most perfect weather that I've had. I wish it would last forever, but unfortunately it won't, will it?
No, the temperatures will warm a little bit from today and into Tuesday and Wednesday. High temperatures today will be in the mid-80s, so a little bit warmer than what we had been across central Louisiana for the last couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
But by Wednesday, it's going to be right around 90, and that's going to kind of hold throughout Thursday and Friday. But no rain. It's going to be dry. Otherwise, mornings will be fairly cool. So your mornings and evenings will be very pleasant. Middle of the day will be a little toasty.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll take that, Andy. I appreciate it. Get some sunshine on your face today, okay?
I'll try to.
All right, my friend. Take care. Thank you.
You too.
All right. Andy Tinkler, meteorologist with the National Weather Service out of Lake Charles, Louisiana, with your Monday, October 21st forecast.
We're back right here in your Premier Morning News Magazine. I met a brother at my birthday party, and I'm glad he was invited by my good friend and, one of me and Oscar McGaw with Oscar McGaw and Associates. He's a big promoter guy, and if there's any event going on in the Houston metropolitan area, Oscar knows about it. You call Oscar. Hey, I'm coming in next weekend. Well, man, I got about 8 events. Which one do you want to go to? It's like that. But when he invited Maurice Savage to my birthday party, and there was a reason. Oscar doesn't do anything just for you to come hang out and have fun. It's always a business component to it. So when Maurice came and I got introduced to him, he came up, and we're going to be talking to him later about his liquor company. There's a black-owned liquor company that he is the owner of, and he has a great product. That's a whole nother show. But what I really want to talk about, this young man, he's a Renaissance man. He's the co-author of a book called The Streets Can't Have Our Children, a powerful and timeless message about the horrible consequences that comes with tumultuous lifestyles. He co-authored it with Professor Robert Sims, and of course, he goes by the name, his real name is Maurice Savage, but he got Boosie in there. Maurice, welcome to the show, and are you badass like Boosie the rapper?
That was the first one. I'm Boosie, so I'm one.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. I know that's right. So let's kind of talk a little bit. I was very impressed with you. Thank you for helping celebrate my birthday party as well. It was a blessing for you to come in there. And he came in with bottles, y'all. He came in and popping bottles.
Thanks for the invite.
No worries. And we do it every year, so I know I'm going to see you next year, right, Mo?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, I looked at it. I haven't had a chance to read the entire book. I did crack it open, and I looked at, the foreword, and I kind of scanned through it. I'm looking forward to sitting down one day and reading it. So tell me a little bit about the streets can't have our children? Because it sounds like it's connected with the problem of many dysfunctional families in America, black, white, or otherwise, but just the what I call the disparity in children being lost to the streets, particularly about gun violence, gang violence, drugs, and mass incarceration.
This is just in a military environment.
Okay.
I'm a retired soldier, and the actual book is from a play. The play was called "The Streets Can't Have Our Boys" by Professor Robert Shams.
Okay.
And the way this came about, my younger brother, Ramon, the professor was his client. And before my little brother passed, he asked me to do something with the professor.
Okay.
And I took one of his plays and I rewrote it and made it a military tone. The book itself is a format to understanding how to transition out the military if you're a active duty service member.
Mm-hmm.
It also has clues in there to help veterans secure their benefits.
Oh, fantastic! And that's a different approach. What are some of the dynamics of what people who transition from the military back into the private sector have to deal with, particularly if you look like you and me?
The first thing you have to understand is if you are injured and you don't follow up on your care when you go to have that injury rated, that's what they look at. You didn't have follow-up care. It doesn't say how severe it is, so you have to start all the way back from ground zero to prove that it was an injury, to prove how severe the injury was.
So you're talking about a service-connected disability. What you're talking about is a book that gives you a better understanding once you get out of service-connected disabilities and how you can get that military compensation?
Correct.
Okay. So you might be surprised at why I know a thing or two about this, because of course I don't know if I told you at the time, but my wife was retired United States Senior Master Sergeant. She served 33 and a half years in the Air Force.
Congratulations.
20 years of that, married to me, and she was commuting from where we are here in Central Louisiana all the way to Barksdale. So that was a 5-hour trip there and back. Yeah. So so when I saw that commercial that came out that said, I think it was a USAA commercial that says spouses serve too, and that hit home to me because, when I would come home, because I get up early in the morning, I start my day at 3 o'clock in the morning to prepare for this show, which we've been going to 23rd year broadcasting it, and then my wife, I'm in my office 4 o'clock, pulling articles, reading newspapers, putting together my rundown and who we're going to have on the show, and preparing my commercial log for Ms. Q to do what she needs to do. And then I'd hear the garage door go up about 4 o'clock. She would come in, we'd say a prayer, give her a kiss, she would get on the road, and sometimes I wouldn't see her till 8 o'clock at night when I'm in the door. And then sometimes it'd be midnight, she's coming in, 3 hours later she's waking up to go back to work, so there was nothing cooking. In the crib, when I arrived, I would start to cooking to make sure that she had dinner when she came in, but now, her being retired, and I see the obstacles that she's going through, Maurice, with trying to get her service-connected military compensation. And man, let me tell you, even if you are a sharp young tool with all your faculties, I can only imagine a veteran being 65, 70, 80 years old, trying to navigate that system. It's tumultuous, it's mind-boggling, and it's almost, you have to be on it 8 hours a day like a full-time job. Yes, man, it's crazy. So you wrote a book about this, man. You know what? This can be a bestseller. Because
we're open.
So you basically took that play and put into story form some of the things and difficulties that people have getting what they're due from the government.
Correct.
Man,
I was exposed to sarin gas in the Gulf War.
Oh, wow.
And they separated me with 30%.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my God! So you got gas. Your lungs permanently damaged. You got gas, breathing some toxic stuff over there overseas. You come back and they don't say, hey, 75, 80%. They give you 30%.
30%. The military released me for one disability, even though I had 22. They gave me 30% for the one that kept me from working in my career field. I was artillery, and being artillery, you can't be a diabetic because you spend so much time in the field.
Yeah.
So that's what they based my separation on, as opposed to evaluating everything that was wrong with me and giving me a proper rating.
Did you have any guidance in navigating the system?
No, sir.
Wow.
Those people didn't come about until later. I learned about national service organizations once I was separated.
Okay.
And that further encouraged me to make sure that active duty service members understand about these, like the VA, the Veteran Administration. I rated at while he's still on active duty, but he just can't be compensated for.
An edge of a leg up, and once you get out, process, it'll make that much more easier.
Much more, yes, sir. So let's say you broke your arm, and you were active duty, you went to the VA, and you gave the VA a copy of that injury. The VA can tell you right then, oh, they have to put how severe it is. They have to put the limitation of the injury, as opposed to 10 years later after you get out the service, you trying to find that doctor and say you didn't put the correct information in.
Yeah, or better yet, being young, you don't know that when you go to the doctor's office, how to keep your own hard copy of your records and maintain it safely, how to even store it in a file. Anytime you go to the doctor, whether it's going to the dentist or the eye doctor, getting those records and holding on to them. And why isn't the military helping young people navigate the system, or at least tell them on the forefront, look, this is what you need to do every time you go to the doctor. It's going to be important for when you get out.
And that's not part of the job. If you join the military to jump out of the airplane, well, I'm going to tell you what you should do if you get hurt. I don't want you to be hurt, so I wouldn't even talk about it.
And I certainly don't want to pay you after you've been injured and we've already kicked you to the curb. You've done all your usefulness to me. I've gotten everything I need out of you. Yeah, so let me get that to the Veterans Administration. Let them deal with it. And when they deal with it, it's staying on the phone for 2 to 3 hours. It's talking to people about this department that doesn't communicate with another aspect or burn self out. Is that complicated?
Or it will make you not pursue your benefits. When they're entitled to $4,500 a month.
Yeah, give up on it.
Yeah.
Even those who have been dishonorably discharged, there's always a different way to skin a cat. Particularly if you're African American, if you're a woman, you're in the service, and there's some things that have happened to you. You didn't talk about it. Whether it was sexual assault, there's all kinds of stuff. PTSD, dealing with that you can get compensated and even get back into the military. Because we know a lot of times when you're active military, it's very hard. It's hard as a person of color, period. But it's even harder if you are a woman and a person of color in many situations. And a lot of it may not be a physical disability, but a mental disability that's service connected based upon some traumatic experience that you had while you were on that base.
Yeah, and we do go through some things that other nationalities don't. No, especially when you're fast tracking, meaning that you're being accepted into programs. A lot of times when you get there, you realize there's only 2 of you there. So it's going to be hard.
Yeah. You know what, Mo? I like what you're talking about this book. I want to let people know where they can get it, but I want to bring you back because I want to talk a little bit more about this because this is a topic that's near and dear to my heart. Let me ask you this. You getting your 100% yet?
Yes, sir.
Praise the Lord. Thank you, Jesus. All right. Good for you. Good for you. How long have you been getting it now?
I was released in 95, It took me 7 years to get the actual 100%.
Jeez.
But I was being paid for 100%, receiving IU, individual unemployability.
Gotcha.
Which means that you so messed up that you can't work.
Wow.
Yeah. So they gave me that at like almost 5 years.
Okay, and then now you're getting 100%. So,
right, straight 100.
So look, I'm gonna bring you back next week because I want to talk about. I mean, I think we're gonna do a 3-parter on you and this book. But let's let people know exactly where they can get the book.
The book is on Kindle and on Amazon.
Okay, and the name of the book is The Streets Can't Have Our Children, a powerful and timeless message about the horrible consequences that come with tumultuous lifestyles. And as he mentioned, it's about, certainly I could put this part, I like this part that you have here. It says, travel with us in the life of the Gold Star widow. The Streets Can't Have Our Children also share a few VA remedies that all veterans should find beneficial. So for you military veteran, and you're trying to get your military compensation, or what they used to call military disability, it's really called military compensation. It's due you. You got a service-connected disability. Proving that you have a service-connected disability is going to be the tumultuous climb of the mountain. But as you just heard Brother Savage say, he's done it. He's done it. It may take some patience. And, you know, what's really tragic about it, Boosie, is, you know, it took you 7 years to get 100%. A lot of those brothers that are starting the process may give up, like you mentioned, but some of them don't even make it to the 100%.
Right. Because their injuries are that bad that
they
and the family can try to follow up to see if they can get compensation.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, again, if you don't know about the national service organizations like Disabled American Veterans, Veteran of Foreign Wars, American Legion, non-commissioned officers of color, yeah, those are non-profit organizations that represent you, free lawyers.
Wow.
And they will help you. So if you bypass them and try to do it yourself, I don't think there's anybody on the planet that can get the combination of words together to present their own case before the VA.
Wow. Yeah, my wife's file was at 800 pages that she submitted. Now, she is an anomaly. She says everything. She was an organizational expert for the United States Air Force, so she above and beyond documentation, finding the documentation. She wanted to wait till she had all the documentation. She's at 90% now, but she's only been trying for the last couple of years. So she hadn't reached that criteria. She's still trying to get that 10% because the benefits at 100% are much greater if anything lesser than that. So you're exactly. So we're gonna bring you back next week, Mo. Let's look at bringing you back on next Monday. I want folks. I'm gonna try to bring him back at an earlier time because I like the topic what he's talking about. I like that he's written he's helped to take a play and wrote a book that gives you some helpful pointers on trying to navigate the system for you people with service-connected disabilities, and post-traumatic stress disorder is a big one. You can get as much as 50% on PTSD if you know what to do. And we're fortunate that we have brothers out here, like Brother Anthony Eli. We got a couple of other ones. We got a couple of ministers that have been military that are now at 100%, that are holding meetings at the MLK Library at no charge to help people navigate the system, because you really need somebody to hold your hand during this.
That's true. That's true.
And you need, of course, those nonprofit organizations that Brother Savage just mentioned that can get you to help. Mention those organizations real quick. You did that real quick. I like that. Say that again.
Disabled American Veteran, Veteran of Foreign Wars, American Legion, the board. The Board Commission? There's like maybe 40 organizations or more.
Wow.
Yeah, you can Google national service organizations and they'll pop up.
And they have attorneys that they can help push your narrative and your agenda.
Yes, and not only that, those guys see lunch with the raters who's going to rate you, so he can just hand your file off and say, I believe this guy meets the criteria for 100%, as opposed to you going to 30 physicals and having to
go to the doctor. Yeah.
Go back. Right. The fact that they eat lunch, they have a relationship, so it makes it a little bit easier.
Well, you know what? And that puts another stamp of approval, and it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Correct.
All right. Mo, thank you, man. We appreciate you. We're going to get you back on next Monday, talk a little bit about more of this. And I'm going to be calling you off the air to have a conversation with my wife, so because you're going to help us get that other 10%, brother.
I got you. I appreciate you, Tony.
I appreciate you too, Mo. And next time we also want to come back and talk about the liquor company, okay?
Good deal.
All right. God bless you, brother.
All right, God bless you.
All right, that is Maurice Boosie Savage, the author of the book, The Streets Can't Have Our Children. You took it from the play written by Professor Administration System. More eyes when we come back. Don't go away. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of Eyes Open. We went a little over, that's okay. For Ms. Q Johnson Green, for Caden Jace Johnson, I'm Tony Brown. Until next time, y'all stay tuned. Most importantly as well, we say stay blessed and stay safe.
Thanks for tuning in to Eyes Open with Tony Brown. The show airs daily, Monday through Friday, from 6 a.m. until 9 a.m. right here on the new KTTP 1110 a.m. Alexandria, Pineville. You can also listen live on our website at www.thenewkttp.com. To contact Mr. Brown or to report a concern in your community, or maybe you would like to advertise on the Eyes Open Radio Network, please do so via email at eyesopentbrown@yahoo.com or by mail at Eyes Open Productions LLC, P.O. Box 13667, Alexandria, Louisiana 71315. The views expressed on this program are not those of this station or its affiliates and are the opinions of the people who choose to participate in this forum.